Welcome to Wrestling It Factor Radio. Your host, Wayne Benitez. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, you got a treat for you. The night is going to be hot and spicy. Yes, gentlemen, put put your tongues back in your mouth. Yes, she is Boricua Beauty and recently Queen of the Indies of ACW. Give it up for Nahir Robles.
Robles. It was so close.
Yes. Finally, we got you here. We got you pinned to the mat.
You got me.
Yes. Yes. It's an honor to be up for you to be on Wrestling Net Factor Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And how was that feeling of winning that Queen of the Indies tournament?
So the fire show, it usually happens once a year. Actually, February, I think it was 8th, 2024 was my first ever show in Maryland, which happened to be at the fire show, which is the all women's show for ECW, right? Where I actually joked about the fact that last year I had former MCW champion Gia Scott as my opponent, and then now this year I had Amara Boyd, who is now the current champion. So I'm like, I keep wrestling MCW wrestlers. There's no going back from this. ACW has been, I feel like, my wrestling home in the state of Maryland. Where I've had the honor to wrestle like some of my best matches in my career. And then being like, it was a full circle moment, like my first show in Maryland. And then a year later, a year and 2 months later, I become the first ever Queen of Maryland, which is an honor. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I was joking about the fact that I don't even think I cried like that much when I won a pageant like a lifetime ago. I started crying there, like on spot.
Yes. Yeah, it reminded me of a beauty pageant also. Miss Miss Universe.
I was a former Miss Puerto Rico like a lifetime ago, but not for the Miss Universe pageant. So can you hear me? I think you froze. Are you there?
Yes, here we go right there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they got a lot of pranks in there. uh, um, yes, it's just amazing how James Ellsworth does a good job, and also their staff.
Ellsworth is amazing. The people that I had the honor of sharing the ring are also amazing. Everyone there is just simply amazing, and the show had such a great turnout too.
Yes, amazing turnout. Yes, they always come out in Maryland in droves, like a rock concert. Even at MCW last event, they haven't been there 14 years to the from the North Point Flea Market. It was
And the
like so
flea
many
market,
memories. Yes. Mm-hmm.
that was insane. When I found out about that, I was like, okay, I came back to MCW in a very interesting time. And there were like over 600, 700 people there. It was ridiculous, like in a good way.
Yes. Yeah. No. No. It was a standing room. Also. Um. Yeah, a sellout, but it's going to get much bigger later on this year.
I have a feeling that it will.
Yes, yes. Dan McDevitt and company does a good job on all their shows.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes, and and Dan, he's an amazing realtor. Also, I gotta give kudos to him right there.
He made a joke about Dundalk when we were on the show because he found out that my dad lives in Dundalk, and I was telling him that my dad had recently moved from Dundalk, and he's like that he still moved like around the Dundalk area, and I'm like yes, and he was like everybody that lives in Dundalk does that.
Yeah.
They all move in the same circles, and I'm like I can see that now.
Yes. Yes. A lot of historic people, even celebrities, grew up in Dundalk. Yes. Even some of Vince McMahon's right hand guys in WWE, yep, Dunn, yes. There, one of his former assistants, Dunn, the director of WWE for years. He's a Dundalkian also.
You know, Dundalk has history. The more we know. That's why the flea market was so cool.
Yes. Awesome. And it was like some of the wrestlers sharing their moments in a tear right there. It was amazing.
It was a great show. Nick Nemeth was there. I teamed for the first time with Simone. I got to put my hands on Ellsworth, which was great because not only did he cost me the ACW Women's Championship, he was also beating on Simone. So 2 for 1.
Wow. Yes, he wants those intergender matches right there. He's trying to live up to his streak.
Yep. The street cred is wild. Not him interfering in almost all women's matches.
Yes. I'm telling you, they need to put a stipulation on him for a intergender match right there.
I think he's wrestling Simone in a street fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Soon. Not sure how soon, but I know that's the plan.
Yes. Yep. He's reaping what he's sowing.
We should have
Yes.
known. We should have known from his shtick with Carmella back in his WWE days. We should have known better.
Yes. Yes. He don't want none of Graves right there. None of her husband right there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, tell me about your. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
I'm sorry, what?
Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Yes. I was raised with boys, so it was either you love wrestling or you love wrestling. um, they would show me all the wrestling magazines they had. I don't know if you remember the wrestling magazines because we would get them like on sale, like when they would arrive like later. So
Yes.
they had all the magazines where they would show you the wrestlers and the divas and the stats and all of that. And they were super big on them. And then that's how I started watching wrestling. And then I went to a summer camp when I was like 12 years old. And then that year they brought a wrestling ring for some reason. That's a very questionable thing now that I think about it. But they brought the ring, so like the people from the camp would do that like their own little wrestling entrance and whatnot. And it was great. It was great. And then I just started looking about like more wrestling and the video games, and then it was just me playing the video games, watching the shows, and then it was just there. It was just wrestling became a huge part of my life when I was younger, and still a big part of my life now.
Yes. Um, which wrestlers did you idolize back then?
I feel like I don't have I didn't necessarily begin watching wrestling at that time, but I always idolized China. I think to this day that she walks so Rhea Ripley could run. I loved Trish. I loved Lita. I loved Victoria. I loved all these characters that they're attractive characters, but there's much more to them than just what you can see, what meets the eye. And Trish is the living example of that.
Yes. Yes, she is. She's the Pamela Anderson of pro wrestling.
Exactly.
Yes. And that's the best thing of pro wrestling. You got so many lookalikes that look like in the entertainment and music business today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Jericho is the younger version of John Bon Jovi.
I could see that. I can definitely see that.
Yes. And it's just amazing. Even his John Bon Jovi's son looks just like Chris Jericho. I said, is that his brother?
Separated at birth.
Yes. Yes. I'm telling you, I'm giving some ideas for Tony Khan to use.
He's gonna make a how do you say this? A DNA test match with Bon Jovi and Chris Jericho.
Yes. Yes, that would be amazing right there.
That is money. They just don't know it yet. That's money right there.
Yes. And it would be tons of fun and definitely laughter on AEW television.
Agreed. I
Yes.
feel like AEW is doing like really good, particularly with the women. Tony Storm has done a great job, like putting life to the women's division. That storyline she had with Mariah May was insane. Then her fake amnesia, and then how she came back and reclaimed her throne. And I just feel like there's so much more to explore with this timeless Tony Storm that's coming around.
Yes.
And the women's division at AEW is stacked with the recent signings of Megan Bayne and people that have been there for a while, like Chris Statlander, sorry, and they had a Thunder Rosa. They have a really good division right there.
Yes. Yes. He bringing all women all over, even Japan, and
I almost
yeah,
forgot Marina Shafir's there. They have Taya, they have Diona. He has like a really stacked division, which really like intrigues me of like what can he do with this division to elevate it more.
yes. Yeah, I give them an idea for a women's gauntlet rumble match.
The Gauntlet would there's going to be Owen Hart, sorry. The Owen Hart. I don't know why I thought of Grey's Anatomy. I think I'm just a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Owen Hart Tournament Cup.
Yes.
They recently just posted who's going against who. Mercedes Monet is on that tournament. Athena's on that tournament. Harley, who's a crowd favorite, is also on the tournament, and she's going against Mercedes Monet.
Yes. And I still remember Tony Khan really wanted Natty Neidhart when they was negotiating when once her contract expired, but she decided to stay with WWE. And it was a tough call for her and everything. And Tony Khan really wanted to utilize her more, even for the Heart tournament first.
Yeah, I think Natalia has been a really huge part of today's women's wrestling, and she's currently like a big trainer there at the Dungeon in Florida. and she's making like these girls like achieve their best versions of themselves in the ring. Because I think Natalia's a technician, and I don't think many people realize how. I feel like, in a sense, Natalia at first she limited her knowledge a lot, but now that she's able to give forward to the new generations, she's able to bring some of that dungeon training to modern times.
Yes. And that was the most interesting place to train at the dungeon. Stu Hart's and Stu was hardcore, and he made sure for everyone to pay their dues before they get started in Stampede Wrestling or any other promotion.
I think Natalia recently posted something when the it was Brittany Brooks who posted about the indie life, like the driving and the crazy shenanigans, and then Chelsea responded, and then Natalia also responded, and Miaim, well, Michin now, how they would have to make these long drives, put ring for like a $20 pay. Indie life is hard, especially when you're just starting. So
Yes. Yep, it's no joke.
no joke at all.
Yeah. Even doing the past when I did my training, and then I worked it for EWA wrestling. That's in Maryland
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and I did a couple squash matches. I was still basically training, and mm, they stiffened me up.
Oh no.
I mean, yes, even like a Patrick Brink during that time. Yes, and one thing is I just didn't I had to stop with pro wrestling because of I had a separated shoulder, and my family was concerned and everything, and then also I was trying to protect my job at the time, so I had to went with the job because of the benefits. So
I
that
feel
was
like I feel like people are put through like hard choices, but at the end of the day, you did what was right for you, and that is completely okay.
yes. Yes, and Damon Devick is also an amazing trainer for his staff there at Bone Breakers Wrestling Academy during the years when it opened in '98 to now, and
Hmm.
so it paved the way for a lot of referees, even Jessica Carr.
Yeah,
Yes, a former alumni of the show, and she's now wrestling under a mask in WWE.
it evolved. Yes, at the LFG show.
Yes, it's just amazing. And
Hmm.
because Paul Levesque, he saw her talent right there, and finally, she gets to shine under his regime now. Since he's the main guy that's in charge for 3 years now.
Hmm.
Yes. Also, what's your memories of working with Megan Bain? Because it seemed like she's a lot intimidated. I like her character.
I think Megan Main is a force to be reckoned with. I don't think anyone understands the aura, the presence she has when she comes outside the curtain. I remember when I wrestled her, I thought I was way over my head. I still believe I was way over my head. Um, she is an absolute beast, and there's a reason why she did her tour in Japan. There's a reason she got signed. There's a reason why anywhere she goes, she's an attraction. She's everything. She's a strong, beautiful woman who can carry herself in the ring and outside the ring as well.
Yes, amazing. And I think she's going to be used a whole lot from Tony Khan. It even it's like you would think that she's in a movie with one fighting Wonder Woman as one of her main um, characters right there, villain characters as a heel.
I could
And
see that.
yes, I think Warner Discovery can make some deals with AEW talent right there
That's a
from top to
star in
bottom.
the making right there.
Yes, yes, it will get over right there, and I'm telling you that um, she will be box office.
Hmm. I can see that.
Yes,
She's great.
yes, yes. Can you tell me about your tag team, Major League Blondes with JC
So,
Storm?
so it started very funny because when I first met Storm, we actually wrestled against each other in a 4 versus 4 match. For We call it the Latin Rice Supremacy match. Because it's basically Puerto Rico versus Dominican Republic. Puerto Rico calls it the sticky rice at the end. We call it pegao. Dominican Republic calls it con, and it was a crazy match. And it ended up in a DQ, so we never know who won. Um, but because a non-Latin person interfered in the match, that's why the match finished. And
Wow.
then I was supposed to meet I was supposed to no, I'm lying. In August we were supposed to go on a show, not together. I was wrestling a singles match. She had a tag match. But life got in the way, so she couldn't show up. And then in September, they put us in a triple threat, and we have really good chemistry together, and it was just there when we decided, we should start tagging, and Storm's a blonde, and it was actually really funny how we came up with the name because we were just stuck on it. And then she says Major League, and then there was a time where Storm was a redhead, and I was like, yo, if you still had your blonde hair, we would be the Major League Blondes. And then she just randomly sends me a picture of that day, and she's back again to being a blonde. And I'm like, guess we're the Major League Blondes now because we both like baseball. This is perfect. And
Yes.
they literally today they posted our match against the Monarchy, which was our first win as a tag, which was crazy.
Wow. Yes, she's a Yankees fan just like me.
Super
Um,
Yankees fan. Like,
yeah,
and that's a joke. I joke with her like that I'll always go, like, if there's a Puerto Rican like a baseball player on a team, I'll go against her. Like, I think the Yankees lost last season. I'm really bad with names because I don't watch as much as I used to. Where Kike Hernandez was on the other team. I remember that, and I
yeah.
make a joke about it. I was like, Ika had to be there. That's why you guys lost. And then I was just like, yeah.
Wow.
But a
Yeah,
little banter here there with her baseball people, like, because she's a super Yankees fan.
yes. Yes. What's your favorite MLB team?
Mm, I feel like I am. Um, I feel like this is because of. I don't remember. I know the team. I just want to give the context, but I don't. I can't explain it well. I think Puerto Ricans love the Yankees, but I have like a special place in my heart of the Chicago um, Cubs because they had Baez and they had They had two Port. I remember they had two Puerto Ricans because that's when Team Rubios began in Puerto Rico, where the Puerto Rican team, like all the guys dyed their hair blonde, which is funny because we're the Major League Blonde.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Definitely amazing tag team.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought um the DR and PR connection.
Yep,
Yes.
right there. It's right there. Just two crazy Latina girls tagging together, taking over the world.
Yes. Yes. It's just like the Peanuts and Big Pun.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Also mm, yes, Gia Scott has put you in several good matches also.
I love wrestling Gia. I think her being one of my first matches of 2024 and also one of my last matches, I think it told a story of like how far not only have I come as a wrestler, but like to be in the ring with a vet such as Gia, a 7-time MCW Women's Champion, is such an honor. Uh, just I feel like we have really good chemistry in the ring together. And even though she's defeated me both times, I think I'm getting the hang of it better with her in the ring.
Yes. Yeah, she was definitely also an amazing talent of Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
Um, yes, and Maria Bennett, she was high on her big time.
I can see why. She's great.
Yes, yes, and I'm just hoping for Maria Bennett to have a speedy recovery from her surgery, and I just hope I can see her in a um, as a working role in TNA for the women's division, and she can be the new women's recruiter, just like for Ring of Honor, um, with Hunter Delirious Johnson, since he's the head of trader for TNA,
Mm-hmm.
and because I like how she brings in a lot of Black and Latino women on a roster at that time at Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but I also remember Maria had made her own women's promotion a couple of years back as well,
Yes.
which would also be good for her to have a comeback. All women's shows have been making a comeback for the better.
Yes. Finally, yes. Because the pandemic was so tough right there for a lot of indie
Mm-hmm.
feds, and I noticed that some of them didn't really come back.
Some of them had to retire because of the conditions. It was not easy.
Right. Yes. And Thunder Rosa has a good also women's promotion also.
I got the honor to wrestle for Thunder Rosa's promotion. I was on their last show before the hiatus, the Midsummer Blast show.
Wow.
It was an amazing opportunity where I got no. She was the main event on that show with Izzy Moreno. I think it was a really good show. Um, I had I was impressed. Like one of the first things I thought of the all women show was like, oh my god, like we had a 15-minute like time frame, which is crazy because I feel like I got accustomed for the longest time to have like a women's match is usually like 8 minutes or 10, and then they try to cut it short every time. So when I remember when they said you guys got 15 minutes, and I'm like, what? And I think it's because of people like Thunder Rosa and people that believe in women's wrestling that give us the scenario to have these kind of like long matches to be able to show the crowd that what we're capable of doing, which is why there's such an investment in women's wrestling right now.
Yes, definitely big time. And I still remember from 0, '06 and '07. Once I started seeing women wrestling back in the United States more, it was more on the indies at
Than actual like TV
yes,
shows. Yeah.
yes, at WSU promotion in New York and New Jersey,
Mhm.
and they did a good job with that. Mercedes Martinez as the one of the main stars with legendary primetime Amy Lee,
Mhm.
and she's a definitely amazing legend, and even she cut one of the best promos. She's the Lisa Lampanelli of pro wrestling. That time I had her on her show, right? And I said she should be the commissioner of um, AEW Dynamite's women's division.
I feel like they need strong like female presence in any locker room.
Yes,
Um, and I feel like that's something we need to address. Like we need more women in administrative positions backstage because no one understands the struggle like women in wrestling go through more than the actual people that paved the way or they've had the experience and they went with what we went through. We're currently going through.
yes, yeah, that is true. Um, they need more even women road agents, even bookers like Gail Kim when
Yes.
she yes, and she's gonna another one that's definitely gonna be missed in TNA
I
when
agree,
she
but I feel like one person's lost is another man. I know the phrase is trash, but I'm not gonna say trash. I think one person's loss is another one's treasure, and I'm pretty sure someone is going to take full advantage of the fact that Gil Kim is now free, like available. She's available to whoever needs of her services.
yes,
Um,
yes, and she's very close to Scott Namora and Maple Leaf Wrestling.
mhm.
I just have that feeling. Hopefully, she can be working with that promotion also in another major promotion. Hopefully, AEW. She would be a good fit in AEW.
Hopefully,
Yes, and definitely Tony Khan might be hearing this right this moment.
who knows?
Yes,
Maybe he's the one that's gonna put in the cards.
yes, it's just amazing for this show for 12 years and um, so many interviews and WWE and TNA signed them right away, and it's hilarious that um, I can't say one of the guys that work behind the scenes at WWE that are known from this area and was saying how it's amazing that Triple H should probably be um, looking at scouting all women, even doing their interviews.
I feel like interviews are presentation to the world because they get to know more about us. So yeah.
Yes, and then it's also inspired so many young people to get into the wrestling business
Mhm.
and add more fans to the to to go out to see more wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes, and I see. I think it's going to be more wrestling on these networks now. A more higher demand.
Not only that, there's the IWTV website. There's a lot of YouTube matches. Wrestling It's a lot more accessible than what it was back then. For example, the pay-per-views, you had to like pay like a lot of money to see the shows, which is fine because you know you need to get the bread. But now, since wrestling's more accessible, indie wrestling's also more accessible. There's almost like every 40 miles there's a show, which is good. You could see a lot of different talent. Um, I feel like we've come a long way. Um,
Yes, y'all definitely came a long way. Definitely making an impact, and it's just like the music industries now is like I compare it to the hip hop. Um, the women in hip hop now is more hip hop women now than ever.
yeah,
Um,
it's been an uprising in women just in general. Um, do you wanna talk about this weekend?
yes.
Uh, I this Saturday I will be wrestling at Warriors of Wrestling. Where I'm
Uh,
facing Vicky Menudo, who's their current champion.
uh,
Then on Sunday I go to Pennsylvania to wrestle Journey Burke, who was actually at the Fire Show. He wrestled Danny Moe.
uh,
So it's gonna be a long weekend ahead, which I should be getting prepared to. But I'm very excited about both these matches because Vicky has been wrestling for the longest time. She's formerly known as Vicious Vicky, now as Vicky the Back Chick, Vicky Menudo. And Journey Burke is, I feel like she's a wild card because you don't expect her to do all these things that she does. So I'm very much looking forward for that. And then the week after, I'm wrestling Ava Everett on a singles match, which is also
yeah,
amazing. I've had like the honor of wrestling like people that have been like longer than me, and I feel like you can be as good as your opponent, and I have to step it up in order to catch up to her. So it's going to be an interesting ride. But what else can I say? If you want to see like more about me and social media, you could look me up as Nahir Robles, and you can see my matches on YouTube and IWTV and stuff. And
yes,
it's hopefully it's for everyone's like liking.
yes,
Um, I didn't know it was this late.
yeah. It's getting late. Yeah,
I was like, I just looked at the time and I'm like, what?
yeah. It's like
But
time
anyway,
flies fast after
legit.
daylight savings time.
Yeah, but thank you so much for having me. I have to actually take my beauty sleep because I have a horrible weekend ahead, which I am getting mentally prepared for. But
Yes,
thank you so much for having me, and I hope you have a good night.
same to you.
Okay,
You have a good travel.
thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the beautiful Nahir Nobles. Yes, you can check Wrestling Net Factor Radio right on our YouTube channel at Wrestling It Factor Radio or at WIF Radio 3247. Also on Facebook on Wrestling Group page at Wrestling Dash News. No, Wrestling It Factor Radio / It Factor Entertainment Radio podcast. Or also on the fan page, also Wrestling It Factor Radio / It Factor Entertainment Radio. For Wayne Benitez, we're signing off. Later.